Welcome to my chow line. I'm Tracy Lingle. Join us as we serve up dishes that are sure to please. We'll also hear a story about military service and food. Today I'm honoring my great-grandfather, Orrin Minor Lewis, who was born in 1881 and served in the Navy during the Spanish-American War. I'm going to be making chicken lollipops. Today for cooking up these lollipops, we're going to be using grill your ass off seasonings and sauces. We'll also be sharing a Warfighter cigar and also having some Horse Soldier bourbon. Grill your ass off seasonings, we're going to be using Crispy's Mango Habanero, Cannibal Allspice, and then on the lollipops that's getting the Crispy's Habanero, we're also going to be using the Hellfire Honey Habanero Barbecue Sauce as a glaze. So join us, let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to show you how we're going to prep these chicken legs for making the lollipops. I've already done all the rest of them, and I'm going to show you on these. We're going to take it, you're going to try and pull the skin all the way down, get all the muscle down toward the fat part of the leg. You're going to go around with your knife and cut all the tendons, all the skin, all the muscle, and all that stuff, and you're going to remove all the skin and stuff on the top part here. Make sure it gets disconnected, and then you're going to push that meat all the way down to a ball, and that makes your lollipop. And then you just take this and pull off a little bit of cartilage and skin, and that's it. That's your lollipop. Now we're going to season them up. I'm going to do one batch with the Cannibal and the other batch with the habanero. We're going to season pretty good because these will be on the smoker. We don't have to do them too heavy, but we want to make sure we get good coverage over everything. We want to make sure we get a nice bark on the outside of these when we smoke them. So don't be bashful, but also you don't have to go too heavy, but you want to make sure you get coverage all the way around. And now you're just going to move it around, make sure it's covered all the way, all sides. You should still be able to see through to the meat some, but you want to make sure that in the skin, but you want to make sure you get good coverage on everything when you pick it up. Roll around inside the seasoning you got in the bottom of the pan. Part of the reason why you want to make sure you get this seasoning has some salt in it, so you want to make sure that gets on the skin. That'll help dry the skin out and help make sure that gives that nice crust on that skin. Maybe a little bit more. All right, now we're going to do the same thing to the other ones. For this batch, we're using Crispy's Habanero. This is a great, I've had this on several things. It is really good seasoning. Got a nice kick to it. Got a hint of sweetness to it. I think it'll pair well with the habanero barbecue sauce for a glaze. So I'm really looking forward to how this is going to taste. Another good seasoning that Guerrero Assoff has for chicken would be the Willie Pete, which is really good. I'm waiting on my ammo drop of that to come in. I have already used up all of that I have in stock, so I've got to get more coming in. I should be receiving that in the next couple of days. But I figured I'd use the Cannibal blend and the Crispies this time. The Willie Pete has a little bit of heat to it. It's really good with chicken. You could go with the salt pepper, the Platoon Sergeant blend, which is salt pepper garlic. That's a really good one as well. If you're not wanting any heat to it, but you just want good crispy flavor. It's got good salt, good garlic. You should go around. You want to make sure you get it all the way around. Pat it down on the bottom. You want the bottoms to get covered real good. Get it on that skin. All right, now I'm gonna cover this back up, get the smoker going, and then that way these will have time to rest while the smoker's getting ready. All right, here's the time where I sit down and tell you a story. This story was sent to me by my uncle about my great-grandfather, his grandfather, some horse soldier. Warfighter cigar here. So, my great-grandfather served in the Navy during the Spanish-American War. So this story is from my uncle's perspective on the information he has gotten from my great-grandfather's diaries and letters home. So this is my uncle's voice when I'm reading this. So just to make sure you keep it straight in your head. My grandfather, Orrin Minor Lewis, born in 1881, grew up in Salem, Illinois. Even today, this is a small town that would have been isolated from the world except for newspapers, books, and an occasional visit by a circus or a travel to the nearest big city 100 miles away. Today, the U.S. Navy proclaims the age-old slogan, "Join the Navy and see the world." Thus, in 1899, the Navy offered my grandfather an opportunity to see the world that he knew mostly from books and school studies. To a young man, the Navy offered an adventure and a purpose to serve during the Spanish-American War. Thanks to his daily record in a personal journal, we can see how the scope of the world grew beyond what he knew from a classic education. He served as a hospital-maid apprentice. To the veterans out there, cheers. The USS Kentucky embarked from New York City on October 25th, 1900. Woo, turn of the century. With the first port to be at Gibraltar. His journal entry gives you a sense of the mystical view that he beheld as the port was approached. So they left on October 25th from New York. Just time frame here. November 7th, entered the Strait of Gibraltar and saw on one side Africa and the European pillar on the other. The legendary high Rocky Mount of Gibraltar is a beautiful sight to see. If I find it as noble and grand work of nature, and abet by the puny efforts of man. On the African shore in plain view is the African pillar of Hercules towering above the surrounding foothills. Another colorful observation was made when passing through the Strait of Messina, off of Italy. In the distance I could see gay old Stromboli, a volcano, a living autocrat of the sea with smoke gradually ascending from its crater. It stands out as if to say, I am king of all. We don't write like that anymore. We don't even talk like that anymore. It's just amazing. The next site of classical interest was Mount Etna, towering above the clouds, its top covered with a mantle of snow, crowned with a wreath of smoke. It was a monarch over all that it surveyed. In mythology, Mount Etna was supposed to have been the forge of Vulcan. In other stories, nothing was spared for the traditional Thanksgiving meal served consisting of turkey stuffed with oysters, dressing, cranberry sauce, celery, gravy, mashed potatoes, pies, cakes, and numerous fruits. So they were still doing Thanksgiving. And they were doing the oysters and dressing and cranberry sauce. Man, not much has changed. Of course, not everybody does oyster dressing. A couple of journal entries of geopolitical interest were made, like sighted a Russian transport loaded with Russian troops from China and a large flagship with 3 smokestacks as we passed by the island of Ceylon. This vessel was likely retiring home from Russia following the end of the war with China ending in November 1900. On January 27, 1901, the USS Kentucky reached Singapore, British India. It is reported that the Queen of England is dead. All the flags of the ships in the harbor are flying at half-mast, and the city of Singapore is in mourning. On February 12, 1901, the Kentucky arrived in Hong Kong. When the harbor was loaded with a large international contingent from Great Britain, Germany, Austria, and Russia. The U.S. was represented by 7 gunboats and battleships from the Asiatic Fleet. A surprisingly terse message was received about President William McKinley. Now comes some news that our president has died. This certainly has made us feel quite blue. Perhaps a detailed report had not been available to say that the president had died on September 14th, 1901, as a result of his assassination on the 6th. As a record of his travels, my grandfather's letters home were published in a local newspaper owned and published by his father, my great-great-grandfather. He wrote a description of Nagasaki, Japan, that was particularly haunting when you consider the destruction from the atom bomb 44 years later. Nagasaki is built around one of the best and most beautiful natural harbors in the world. It is so situated that it is made a port of entry by all large steamers. 3 islands are at the mouth, making 3 entrances with water at a depth of 6 to 100 fathoms. His April 9th, 1901 letter was published with a description of the capture of Anguillada, the notorious leader of the Spanish-American resistance in the Philippine Islands. His account is too detailed to quote for its entirety, so a brief summary is given. A Philippine general and confidant who grew weary of the strife provided erections that enabled an expeditionary force to traverse 80 miles from the beach landing to make a 2 a.m. raid on Augi's residence. He said that although he is captured, it will never end the war. He is now confined at Castle MacArthur in Manila. Many years passed before I even knew of the journal's existence, but my grandfather regularly would tell us an important truth. Travel is the best education. When I finally read about his travels and how his view of the world expanded beyond what he had read in books, I understood why he shared that wisdom. That's just crazy. We have technology. We can look at videos and pictures. You're watching this on a phone or a computer or a TV at home, streaming through the internet. 1900. 120 years ago. 122 years ago, 123 years ago, all this was happening. But I wanted to share this with you because, one, my family has a history of serving in the military. From see this here, my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my uncles, my dad, my brother, myself, and my son is in the National Guard. My wife was in the Air Force. We have lots of family that served, especially my father's side. The service for him was eye-opening to the world. And he had an education, as you can tell by the way he wrote. Very descriptive. I have more articles and stuff, but it was too much to do for a sit-down video. I mean, but the diary entries alone, just the way he viewed the world. I know that he was exposed to many things, other kinds of foods as well, different seafoods and different types of foods in the other places he went, and he talks about them in his journal, and I would like to share some more of those stories because it's just interesting to capture the first-time perspective of someone trying a new food. I mean, I know there's probably plenty of guys out there that have joined the military and have never had exotic foods before, and then they get an opportunity to because of their service. And it's just one aspect of our service that I like to fascinate with, because we all have to eat. But it's one thing we can all connect with too. We've all had good food, bad food, great food, funny food, or funny ways we deal with it. But I don't know. I want to tell stories about service from all veterans, whether they're gone or not. If you have a story of a family member, or if you want to tell me your story, follow me on Instagram and send me a message, my chow line. You can comment below on the video, and I will try and get back to you and find a way to connect with you. I am developing a email, and I'll have a website eventually, so that we can categorize all the stories and put them up. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers to my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my uncles, my brother, my dad, and all those in my family and yours that have served. Cheers. Now let's get back to cooking. All right, we got our lollipops cooking. They're just about done, getting ready to, I've temped them. We're looking for at least 165 to 175 before we glaze. And then I'm gonna let them get up to about 185 to 195 before I pull them off. We're doing low and slow to help break down some of the tendons and cartilage, so that makes it a lot easier to eat and makes them juicy. So check back in a minute. All right, so now we have them. We have our lollipops. We have our one here with the cannibal, and then we have this one with our Crispy's mango habanero with the habanero barbecue sauce glaze. Let's give these a try. We'll go first with the Cannibal. They look really, really good. They smell amazing. Oh, wow. Did you see that? So juicy. No flies. You can't have any. Shoo shoo fly. Woo. Good grief. You saw the juices shoot right out? Oh, my word. Oh. That's so good, so tender, so juicy. It's got a salty sweetness, a little bit of peppery heat, not a lot. Oh, no. Whew. That's still hot. It's been sitting for a minute. It's still hot. I'll try a little bit of some barbecue sauce on this one. Oh, my goodness. Come on, man. That is so good. Holy crap. Tender, juicy. Pulls right off the bone. Oh my goodness. Come on. There's smoke on it. Okay. I'm eating it too fast. All right. Cleanse the palate. Now for the spicy one. It looks really good. You see that? Oh my goodness. That's got like a honey sweetness to it. Woo, a little bit of kick. Juicy. Oh, get out. Get out of here, flies. Oh my god. Dude. Look, you see that? Just pouring out juice. Oh. And I didn't baste them. I didn't spray them or spritz them. That skin stays on there and helps hold all that moisture in. And doing it low and slow, it renders down the fat that's inside. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is freaking next level. Sweet heat. Oh my goodness. All right. Excuse me. I'm going to have a moment. Oh my goodness. Dude. Oh, come on. Do. I could do this all day. Yeah, skin. Oh. Okay. Y'all got to get you some of this stuff right here. This right here is gold. Okay. Try this recipe. Get this stuff here. grillyourassoff.com/mychowline, or go to mychowline, or go to grillyourassoff.com and put mychowline in for 10% off your order. Get this stuff. This is, ooh, that heat's coming on the backside. Ooh, I love it. You will not find a better combination. Oh my word, that is amazing. Come on, guys. Dude. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Thank you for checking out this cook. Let me share a story with you. I feel like I got barbecue sauce all over my face. Probably do. That's okay. It was good. It's worth it. Check out my other videos. Another video coming up. 4th of July is coming up. I'll be cooking on location in Palatka, Florida. Doing barbecue cook-off there for the 4th of July weekend. So look forward to that video coming out soon when that happens. But guys, Don't let the hard days win. Cheers to all the veterans. See you all in the next video. Oh my goodness. Come on. Finger licking good. Yeah, KFC ain't got nothing on that. Oh my goodness.